Hello there, one and all, and welcome to episode 372 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you live on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in, whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording. And regardless of how you're watching, feel free to leave a comment, ask a question. First comment today goes to Natalie, who says, hello again from The Hague. DJ is here as well, saying, yo. Elias says, hey. Rich Mitch says, hi. Tiberius says, hello, one and all. Hope you're all having a lovely evening. Itziara's here as well. No Lys Soleil, says Susanna. Dommage. Oh, that's a bit newer than what we're doing here. Okay, what have we got? This is a kind of I can't call this a classic because I'm not sure that this has become a classic. So I've called it a vintage scent video because it's certainly vintage. It is from 1999. Let's try that again. From 1999, part of the original Guerlain Aqua Allegoria lineup. This is Rosa Magnifica or Magnifica, composed by Mathilde Laurent. I think officially we're supposed to say that it's Mathilde Laurent and Jean-Paul Guerlain. Mathilde Laurent was working at Guerlain at the time and composed several scents there before she then moved on to become the in-house perfumer at Cartier, where she has been since then. Why this? Well, the other day when we were doing the new Aqua Allegoria review, we were doing Nerolia, Vetiver, Forte, and Harvest. One of you left a comment, and I forget who it was, so I'm really, really sorry, but thank you to the person who left the comment about how they'd read somewhere that this one, Rosa Magnifica, Mathilde Laurent had composed as a sort of homage to Guerlain Naema from the late 70s, the Jean-Paul Guerlain composition, which just happens to be one of my favorite creations of all time. And I thought, oh my goodness, how come I did not know this? And how come I've never smelt this, seeing as Naema is one of the all-time greats as far as I'm concerned. So I scoured the internet and did manage to find this bottle in pristine condition, and it arrived today, and I'm afraid I could not restrain myself, and I had an initial sniff, and then I immediately thought, the next time I'm doing a video, I'm sharing this with all of you. So difficult to get hold of, unfortunately, not one that you can walk into a shop and buy, but there are a few drops of it out there, and if you are on the lookout for something vintagey and you'd like to expand your Guerlain collection, seek this one out. Let's have another spray. This was an instant kind of, oh my God, where have you been all my life type moment for me. And if you know Naema, this is totally a homage to Naema. So there you go. That's what the original Aqua Allegorias looked like. This is the 125ml, the EDT, the Eau de Toilette. They were all the same bottles, and they just had a little tag with the name on them there. Herba Fresca, of course, is still with us from that original lineup. Also Mathilde Laurent, so is Pamplemousse, but we have lost Lavande Velours, and we've lost Ylang and Vanille. But this, it is Naema. It is Naema, but it's like Naema, almost like a kind of cologne version, if you can imagine such a thing. Claire says, I love Naema too. Candy Camp says, wow, memories. I remember being a window displayer at a department store and spritzing this at the start of my shift. What did you think of it? Can you remember what you thought of it? So, for the benefit of those of you who may not be aware, and if you have not smelled Naema, you need to get out there and smell it. Even if you end up not liking it, you need to smell it. It is one of the most perfect, most tempestuous, most impassioned, most glorious roses out there. It is this maelstrom of notes that come together at the beginning. It's spicy, it's woody, it's crimson, it's sunset, it's earthy and fiery and really, really quite animalic, and also apricotty and peachy. It's got that kind of fruity thing happening at the top, but it's this real full-bodied and full-blooded and fiery rose. It is just amazing. It is easily one of my favorite perfumes of all time, and it is just tragic that Guerlain are no longer able to make it in the extrait form, because that's when it was at its best, but for various reasons they can't make it anymore. At the moment they still do it as an EDP, I think, and I never ever want to be without a backup bottle of it. This is that same rose, to think that this is an Aqua Allegoria, the branch of Guerlain that we now associate with quite light and undemanding scents, which is not a put down. That kind of style is difficult to do well. But when I think that Herba Fresca came out in the original lineup, and Pamplemousse, they definitely veer more towards the kind of lighter cologne-like composition, but they've got character, they've got personality, they're so distinctive. Herba Fresca and Pamplemousse are really, really instantly recognizable, and quite odd in their own way. You know, Herba Fresca's got this strange chewing gummy, grassy, minty note, and then along comes this part of that range too. So what has it got from Nerma? The rose, it's got the woodiness, it's got that slight suggestion of the peachiness, it's got the fire, it's got the passion, it's got the color, but it's just a bit more approachable. So it's like Nerma's friendlier, younger sibling, friendlier, younger sister. And I don't think it quite has the staying power. And then as it develops, it goes in a slightly different direction and becomes woodier, I think. I wore it briefly today, and there were moments when I kind of thought, oh my God, is it almost going in the direction of, you know, like high quality wood polish spray, in a good way. And it got a compliment from Madame Persolaise, who actually, interestingly, she wears Nerma, but she didn't say, are you wearing Nerma? So I didn't tell her the inspiration connection. I will at some point, and I'll sort of say to her, does this make you think of Nerma? At which point she'll probably say, oh yeah, it does. But she didn't when she smelt it on me. And I just thought, oh, thank goodness I now have 125 mils of this, because on the days when maybe I don't want to do the full-on Nerma thing, I can reach for this. And Rosa Magnifica is just a perfect name for it. There's almost even a hint of it possibly that it could have been called Rosa Metallica, because it does start becoming a little bit more metallic and silvery and sort of silver edged than Nerma. Nerma never ever loses its crimson quality. Interestingly as well, on the picture, I mean, I'm not a plant expert, but I'm thinking, isn't that a peony? Or do peonies or is it a particular kind of rose that looks like? Somebody out there will be able to tell me. Anyway, what are you folks saying about this? Would you recommend the current Nerma, says Cloudy, or seeking out a vintage one? See, I actually think current Nerma is pretty good. There are people out there, obviously, who will say that you need to seek out a vintage. I have a vintage-ish tester. I think of the Parfum de Toilette, which is what Guerlain called the thing that eventually became Eau de Parfum, EDP. And, you know, I think it's totally recognizable, but the older one maybe is just a bit more mossy, a bit deeper, a bit scarier maybe. But current Nerma that you can walk into a shop right now and buy the EDP, I think is pretty good. Maybe it's also a little bit less fruity. Lindsay says, the current Nerma EDP I have is one of my absolute favorites, a perfume with so much depth. There you go, absolutely. Elias says, maybe the metallic facets fit more in the 90s. Yeah, maybe. I mean, okay, this is late 90s, you know, the very, very end of the 90s. But it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. And to think that Mathilde Laurent did this as well, you know, the next time I haven't seen her for years. I keep trying to arrange an interview with her and it's just not happening. But the next time I see her, I will say, you never told me you made this. Paul Pofemo says, never had the chance to smell vintage Nerma. Unfortunately, I love the current one. Yeah, I think you're fine with that one. You know, if you smell the vintage one, I don't think you will immediately have a kind of moment where you go, oh my God, it's so different. I don't think that happens with Nerma. I think current Nerma, what you get is in pretty good shape. What a great channel you have, says Per. Your video with Renaud Salmon was a joy to watch. That's very, very kind. Thank you very much. Natalie says, I had to buy 2 dresses especially to fit Nerma. I love that. Have you told me this before? Because this comment rings a bell. Yeah, I love the fact that people think, oh, I need to buy an outfit to go with this perfume. Ranunculus rose, says Helen. Absolutely right. It's already starting to become, I suppose, less buxom, and maybe the fact that it's woodier and more streamlined and maybe a little bit more simpler means that it fits with the Aqua Allegoria line well. But I was so pleased I got this. I was so pleased that, you know, talk about blind buy, but I read enough about it to think this is something that's got to be mine, and I had to share it with you. Absolutely had to share it with you. So we are done for today. If you've been watching the lives, thank you very much for sticking around. And please stay tuned to social media for details of more videos coming your way. Fan Frelouche says, the old Nema is fabulous, not the new one. See, I like it. I do like it. I do. I really, really like it. And Madame Persolaise wears it. And she's been wearing it for well over 10 years now, and she still really enjoys it. But yes, maybe there was something in particular that you picked out and you responded to in the vintage that maybe isn't there now. And so then that is really, really frustrating and upsetting and annoying when that happens. But maybe I didn't focus on whatever that thing was. Okay. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, I didn't say this with any of the other videos today. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. I will see you soon. Be good. Take care. Bye now.